guys, welcome in. We're doing something a little different on my channel today, but I think you're gonna enjoy it. Some of y'all are mad, first off. Like, your hot takes reveal that there are some things ticking you off about the beauty community, makeup in general, all that stuff. We'll get to it, but this whole idea was inspired by Grady Smith. He's a country music YouTuber. He is like the me in the country music world. He reviews music, he has all kinds of topics. I think I discovered him talking about how great Luke Combs is, and I agreed, and so I was like, this guy's cool. But recently he did a hot takes video where he invited people to, I guess, tweet him their hot takes. And what is a hot take? Well, I got the definition here. A piece of commentary typically produced quickly in response to a recent event whose primary purpose is to attract attention. So bold statements, could be unpopular opinions, just somebody kind of throwing out their opinion. And then he sat there and received them and responded to them, and it was really fun to watch. And I thought I could do that with beauty, you know? I could get all y'all's hot takes on the makeup industry and the beauty community on YouTube and social media and products and trends, and just kind of, you know, put my finger on the pulse of what people are thinking these days. And I did it on Twitter, and then I also asked, and it was like last week-ish, I asked on my Instagram stories as well. So we're gonna go to Twitter first, and I've pulled a bunch of them. There was so much feedback, and I had tagged Grady in my original tweet, like my call out for this, because I wanted to give credit where credit was due for the idea, but I had no idea the response was going to be like this. So he's receiving like all these makeup and beauty hot takes, and he said that it seems like glitter is the bro country of the beauty community. You gotta watch him to inform yourself on all that. But anyway, we're just gonna dive in and get started. I want to tell you first though, there are some things that I agree with, some things I disagree with, some things I'm probably guilty of. There's just gonna be a lot to take in here. Okay, here's the first one. Kate says, the YouTube community is horridly out of touch with the everyday consumer of makeup. Instead of giving us practical advice about how to look better at our 9-to-5s, we get full glam tutorials, which we will use maybe once a year. Emphasis on new versus use what you have is what she sees. And I do see where Kate's coming from. I think from the perspective of a creator, the thought is sometimes what's gonna garner the most attention, you know, what's gonna really take off. And perhaps the tame, everyday work looks or whatever may not be as eye-catching as the thing that's in full glam with the lashes where you see the thumbnail and you're just like, wow, did that come out of a magazine or something? And some of those kinds of videos, I agree, they're not so much about maybe teaching or serving the viewer. I think they're almost more about performing practically and like, let me show you what great wild thing I can do. Almost a little more entertainment oriented. So I think it's a lot about what you're looking for as a viewer, what you're seeking out and what you end up finding. But I don't think the whole community is out of touch. One of my pet peeves is kind of when the beauty community as a whole gets generalized. I think we are like a beauty world, and I think we've all got our own little countries, states, and communities within it, you know, that are all potentially very different from one another. And I love good practical tutorials and things that people will actually maybe refer to for daily looks. But I'm sure I've totally done some impractical things as well, and I may be guilty of what she's saying there. Cut creases are cheesy looking, says Kelsey. I kind of agree with that. I kind of feel like cut creases are something that if you capture that perfect picture of it in a still shot, like it can be beautiful and artistic and like something that really clearly took some time, you know, to create. But then just operating out in the world, I think it looks, I don't know, on a body that's in constant motion and blinking and talking and that kind of thing, I feel like the cut crease looks like a bit much. Do what you want, but I kind of agree with Kelsey. Nikki says, applying in this order looks best. Highlight, blush, bronzer. Completely backwards from how I usually do it, but I would be willing to take a chance at that. Okay, Nikki, I'm listening. I'm listening. Great name here. Chonky Captain Marvel says, I hate people calling Bobbi Brown Clinique and Laura Mercier old lady makeup. Not everything has to be geared toward 20-somethings, speaking as a 27-year-old who likes these brands. Old lady makeup, how do you feel about that? Like, do you think there are brands that you avoid simply because you associate them with an older age range that they're appealing to? I think of some of those bigger department store brands, makeup counter type brands. I understand bringing up Clinique. I might think about like Elizabeth Arden or something like that. But I think it's a dangerous thing to do for us to mentally like label certain brands as such because we shut ourselves down from the possibility of, discovering something great, and everything's going on a different face. Everything's going to take on its own look depending on, your own skincare and what your skin type is like and all that. What is old lady makeup to you? And I feel like it's kind of a negative, unfair term. Shaming any part of the population based on age is just ridiculous because, God willing, we're all headed in that direction. And those people are the ones with the guidance and the wisdom and the stories to tell, and the ones who really know something anyway, so I don't know. But basically my take is the thought of old lady makeup is troubling to me, and I think it's shutting you down from perhaps a whole sector of makeup that you might really enjoy. Okay, Dominique's coming on here saying Amrezy is a better highlighter than Champagne Pop, and Morphe is the most annoying thing that's ever happened in the beauty industry and has taken away any credibility a lot of influencers had. I've personally been annoyed by Morphe. I think I'd finally done a video and I said, I think there's a lot of hype associated with this brand. I feel like a lot of people kind of got under its wing and were like, okay, I can offer a coupon code if I promote these products. I can make even more money if people are buying off my code and stuff. And it kind of did make me question people's credibility because I thought, are you pushing this product merely because you know it's a better financial deal for you if you do so? But yet here they are, a very affordable brand. And so somebody who might recommend a Morphe thing over this super luxury thing, maybe are they actually looking out for the consumer and doing something like that? But it is a brand that sometimes makes you question, what is that influencer's motivation, Cherry B says, not specifically beauty related, although many beauty content creators use it, the Like to Know It app. Why does everything have to be a sales pitch now or connected to earning money? I like your shirt, but I'm not going through an app to find out who makes it. Fantastic point. I can see why a lot of influencers do use that. I think it can be useful in directing people to a lot of info on a certain look or a certain whatever, and then here's your immediate connection on how to buy it. But I think it is annoying when everything gets that way, and I will just flat out, I'll scroll through Instagram and I'll feel like everything is an ad some days, whether it's a Like to Know It thing or it's something where it's hashtag ad, I'm just like, where is just the pure content? Where's just the person posting because they want to share something? It makes us have to justify ourselves if we did just want to get on and say, hey, this MAC Prep and Prime Fix Plus pineapple mist is really amazing. And if I just flat out put a picture of that on my Instagram, how many of you would think that that was sponsored? Just because I was plugging one single product there. It's not, but I would have to go out of my way to explain that it wasn't, right? Monetization, wherever you can do it, I think is becoming just a huge thing. And I do use affiliate links. I'll use as many affiliate links as possible under my videos, because that is something I would do anyway, is link to every product I mention. And considering I don't do sponsored videos, it does become an extra revenue stream for me to offer those links, and if people want to support me through those links, they can. But yeah, with the Like to Know It stuff on Instagram, it would be cool if people maybe decided here or there not to use it and just be like, hey, check out this, $12 shirt I scored at wherever, and actually give all the details and not have that little element of secretive stuff going on, you gotta click to know. Rachel Elliott says, Tarte Shape Tape is trash. Expensive skincare is 100% worth the investment over expensive makeup. Metallic highlighter circa 2016 is so strange looking in person, and brands shouldn't be taking influencers on vacations every month and instead should pay their actual employees more. Boom. Rachel had a lot of stuff to get out there, but she did fit it all into one tweet. Let's focus in on the influencer trips. I don't feel like I watch a ton of different people's Snapchat and Instagram stories really religiously, so I might be a little out of touch on the fact that these trips are still happening with the frequency they were maybe a couple years ago. But under the surface of just looking like you're having a really wonderful, fabulous, glamorous time, I feel like there is an expectation and a string attached for these influencers who are going on these trips, because they're not just going and chilling and zoning out. And I haven't heard of a trip where they told them, let's all just turn off social media and have a good time bonding together. They are there to be constantly plugging that trip on social media and talking about the brand and maybe bringing up that big launch that happened while they were on the trip and everything. And yeah, it's probably a real cushy environment and they're going to have some fun experiences along the way, but they're technically there to do work for the brand. And yeah, I could sit here and wonder how much money are they putting into that? This seems so luxurious for these influencers, but I guess what I'm getting at here is it's not merely a gift to the influencers. They are getting something back from that, and that's why I think these brands are choosing to do that. But the decision to pay actual employees more, that's something that in a sense we can't really know. I don't know if a bunch of people recently got raises from Tarte, that's not my public knowledge, but you've got to hope that while they're willing to do this kind of stuff with high profile influencers, that the people people behind the scenes, the people doing the work, the people in the creative side of things for their brands are seeing something as well. Maybe the brand is seeing actually such a huge return on these trips as far as consumers spending on their brand that it's, who knows, maybe allowing them to pay their employees more. We don't really know. Alicia Nixon says the overuse of concealer by literally everyone these days is out of control. Now, saying literally everyone means actually every person. And Alicia, I did that video talking about less is more products and concealer was one of them. So yay, I'm not guilty on that one. Here we go, Rayanna Jean. I've started looking for less popular YouTubers so that I can find tutorials again. A get ready with me is not the same. Interesting. I think that definitely depends on a certain YouTuber's style, right? Because some people really narrate the steps they're going through and then maybe there is some chit-chattiness, but others might just sit there and see a get ready with me as a time to barely reference the makeup and just go full on off topic with their chit-chat. To me, I know when I go into the titling of my videos and like, what am I actually going to label this? I sometimes go back and forth, like this could literally be called a tutorial or it could be called a get ready with me. I think get ready with me captures more eyes and I think more people are into that right now, so I'm going to be more prone to title it that way. But essentially it is a tutorial because I'm going through step by step talking about everything and mixing in a little chat here and there. But right on to you, Rayanna, for actually going and seeking out smaller people, digging into the beauty community a bit deeper to find what you're after and not just sticking to the surface. I think that's great. Hi Fix Broken Hearts says, I love seasonal collections. Drugstore used to have them and now they do not anymore. Luxury brands have remained. I miss fall collections the most. I've purchased as many fall collections as I can this year from Chanel, etc. But I miss my drugstore fall collections. That does get me thinking, like I remember, you know, Wet n Wild would always have their distinct seasonal collections coming out, and Maybelline might have like certain little eyeshadow palettes and then some different lip colors coming out. And I don't know, are brands trying to maybe step away from all the limited editions so much because they don't feel like perhaps it has the longevity as some of their other products do? Like it does have that hot for the moment appeal, but for those who are trying to push their brands online and link to things and really steer people in the direction of those products, it's hard to do online, I bet, with some of these collections that are put out and it's like very small stock in different stores. I wonder if brands aren't learning that maybe it's just not been as profitable. But I agree, it was always fun to like walk into a Walgreens and see those displays. And I don't feel like I see as many of them anymore. Maybe some here and there, but not like they used to be. I get that. Lone Lily's got a lot to say. Let's listen here. She says, Natasha Denona is overrated. I won't buy from any company that takes the same 6 influencers on tropical trips. I'm tired of cutesy makeup lines filling the market with glittery scented fads instead of quality. Urban Decay is 4 years overdue for a purple naked palette. I'm genuinely confused why Jeffree Star has his own makeup line but releases makeup under Morphe 2, and nothing makes me happier than the glowy skin, healthy makeup trends right now. So a lot to unpack in this tweet. The Natasha Denona is overrated thing, I mean, it does come at a very high price, doesn't it? And if you feel like you can get the similar look from something else, then I guess you'd feel like it's overrated. At the same time, it's some of these higher priced brands that I think do set the stage for sometimes lower cost brands to follow suit and maybe do some copycat things and create those lower price versions. So are they still serving a role? The tropical trips thing, I mean, I've seen that on multiple different tweets, is rubbing some people the wrong way. I'm, by the way, not going to be able to get through everybody's tweet here, but that was something I saw a lot. Urban Decay 4 years overdue for a purple naked palette. I'd buy it. I would be on board for that. The comment about Jeffree Star, he has his own makeup line, but releases makeup under Morphe 2. I also think that's confusing. What other brand owner or face of a brand is doing that? All I can think is that it's profitable and it's working for both of them, both parties involved. I'm guessing there's a good business relationship there and people are buying, and I'm sure he attracts a ton of attention back to the Morphe brand. So I'm thinking it's all coming back to money there. And while it seems odd and unorthodox maybe to those of us on the outside, it's probably been proven to make everyone involved a lot of money, and so that's why it continues, I'm guessing. Celeste says, very unpopular opinion, I'm sure. Beauty gurus in general wear too much makeup. They look younger and more fresh when they tone it down, especially when they wear full coverage foundation, and it's absolutely not necessary for them. This comment represents a lot of comments that I saw, just saying basically YouTubers need to dial it back. What they're doing isn't practical. What they're doing isn't something that the everyday person would actually follow, that kind of thing. We talked about that a little bit earlier. So there's this desire to see YouTubers tone it down, and then I also see some comments, which I think they're coming up here soon, basically saying like, it's makeup, there should be no rules. Like, let people do what they want. want. But I do see where Celeste is coming from and wanting to see more real skin, wanting to see more realistic things happening. The belief that kind of less is more. I get what she's saying there. Rue Renard says, unpopular opinion, dewy skin is increasingly becoming greasy makeup. Blotting and using powder are not criminal activities. You're right, Rue. You touch up with your powder. It's okay. And how much is the dewy look just simply maybe something someone's presenting for on camera, and then practically speaking, it's not maybe something that they're actually wearing that way all day long. Just a hunch. Okay, Carla is speaking for the masses here. This came up a ton. I don't like the pressure to buy. People don't need every new release. So many comments about too much makeup is basically coming out all the time. I'd like to know from Carla and anyone else too, like, where do you think the pressure to buy is coming from? Do you feel like it's the brands, like as they put out something new and you just are exposed to that? Does that feel like pressure to you? Does it feel like pressure if you scroll through your YouTube feed and you see a bunch of videos just about new products? Are there individual influencers who are constantly making you feel like you need something new? Because I look at myself and I think, well, heck, I could be guilty of doing that. But at the same time, if you actually click and dive into one of my reviews, you know, I'm talking about a new collection and there may be one thing or maybe even nothing I really recommend. So I don't really know how to avoid this other than if you feel like the pressure's coming from companies, unfollow them. If you feel like the pressure's coming from influencers and you don't like it, you know, unfollow them. Really think about who you're watching and whether you think they're giving a thoughtful take on things. Renee Vandewoe says, I think a nude color in the waterline doesn't make anyone look more awake. Oh, Renee, I swear it does. I swear it does, Renee. Oh, my girl Bailey B's coming on here. She says, people say they're over new launches and want to see more looks using old palettes, but then don't watch. I love playing with old makeup, but no one watches relative to the vids about new stuff. This is a good point here. There is an audience feeding into the videos that are, you know, the full face of new products and all that business. I can speak for my channel as well. There will always be more people tuning in for that kind of thing than there will be, you know, the rediscovered looks and the shop my stash. And I will still do that stuff because I do love it and I try to keep my content coming from a personal place of like what I love. But it's true. There's this massive amount of people who still, I guess the curiosity is there, whether or not they like that all the new stuff is coming out, they're curious enough to maybe see that new stuff in that thumbnail and think, I do want to watch the video about it. Sarah Hazen offered multiple hot takes, but also said, completely over shop with me at Target. Girls, if there's a Walmart in town, you can get the same product for $1 or $2 less. Save money and shop smart. I'm on your team, Sarah. Heather says, I'm more intrigued by brands who take the time to perfect and curate their collections than the ones who are constantly pushing out new items. And again, with that frustration of just so much coming out, lots of people said this kind of thing. And I think the answer to why, just like influencer trips, just like why does Jeffree Star collab with Morphe? Why are brands constantly putting out new things? I think the answer to all of it is money. It's got to be making people money. But I personally, I am with Heather on this because I am more intrigued. I'm becoming much more like ears perking up, taking attention when I see a brand like M Cosmetics coming out with a new product, you know, than I am like a brand that's just in a constant churn of weekly new stuff, because that starts to become like almost a white noise, right? Like I'm almost glazing over at it. But when the brand is really carefully and I think thoughtfully putting out new product, then I'm really listening. Like they're the ones who have my attention more so and my interest. Heather Austin, another YouTuber on here, says, I feel like my unpopular opinion is that if someone wants to wear something, it's wearable. Rainbow eyes, minimal makeup, cut crease, bold lips, who cares what other people wear? Everyone should wear the looks they like. There are no do's and don'ts in makeup. And I'm simultaneously like guilty of something she said here, and I'm also completely in her camp too, because the thought of being wearable, I'm certain I've defined certain eyeshadow palettes, for example, as saying, oh, this is super wearable. Well, who am I to say what's wearable and what's not wearable? You know, something that's really wearable to me could be boring as hell to somebody else, and what's wearable to them is the palette that's 100% green and blue. I agree, don't let somebody tell you what's wearable or not. And I agree with Heather, there are no do's and don'ts in makeup. And as a YouTuber, you will have to take in from your audience, you know, people coming at you saying you need to wear less makeup. Or you'll wear a really natural foundation, someone will say, yeah, but that didn't cover very well and it looks patchy, your skin doesn't look as good as it usually does, and stuff like that. Like, you'll get criticism coming from every angle, and the only takeaway I think a creator can have is, let me just do what I like to do. Because everybody out there's got an opinion opinion on you, and you can't possibly cater to everyone. And Lizzie's on here saying, glitter and colors don't have an age limit. If I still feel like wearing sparkly blue on my eyes when I'm 55, I'm going to. You can put non-mattes in your crease. Makeup is not an excuse to be late to things. That's just rude. And high-end products are stupidly overpriced. On the age thing, I feel like, you know, the older I get, the more I'm probably going to start to take it personally when people start outlining rules for what you can't do at a certain age. I think that's a terrible squash on a person's creativity, and I hope anyone in that mindset gets over it, because makeup should be fun and enjoyable, and people should be able to paint up their faces however the heck they please. And if you've made it to your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 100s, you have every right to do it exactly how you want to do it. Let's try to whip through a few things on Instagram here. My memory card is kind of starting to fill up now. These were just things that came in from my Instagram story little call out thing. Another person, I'm over all the new releases. Done. Question, are you truly not buying any of them? And are you supporting the videos out there that are reviewing them? I'd like to know that from anyone who says they're frustrated. Because like Bailey said, I think the message many YouTubers are getting sent is that there is very much an interest there in learning about the new products, because that's in a lot of cases where views come from. After a YouTuber reaches a certain level of fame, it's hard to trust their opinions anymore, brand deals, etc. I understand that. I mean, that's a principle behind like the way I've built my channel. I don't do sponsorships because I don't want people to have to wonder about my motivation. And I really like maintaining my control over my channel, and I've seen the laundry list of requirements, the strings attached to different sponsored videos, and it's like, no, I'd rather just choose what I want to talk about, present to you where my genuine interest lies, and you don't have to wonder if that came out of a great financial deal for me. A lot of complaints on Instagram about fake looking eyebrows, microbladed eyebrows, too dark eyebrows, too heavy eyebrows. I don't know if some people are trying to send me a message here or what, but there's a problem with eyebrows. Someone says, I'm sick of all these new eyeshadow palettes. And you know, that tends to be where a lot of collabs come from. That's a lot of new releases are eyeshadow palettes. And someone else says, too many collabs, too many releases, people can only acquire so much makeup. I wonder if we will see a change or a shift in this, or if brands are truly seeing it to be the other way around, kind of the way creators are, like, well, you say you don't want the new stuff, you know, if you're on Maury, but your viewing habits prove otherwise. Maybe brands seem to see it as being super profitable. There may be a vocal group of people over here saying too much, but yet the spending habits of many more people are showing them that it's a good idea for them to just keep releasing and releasing. YouTube is coming full circle in that I think people are nostalgic for old style minimal production. Oh, Sarah, I hope so. God, I hope so, because that's basically me, and I mean, feel like I've stayed really true to who I am and what my channel is. And then I feel like YouTube is, I'm finding out from people, they're saying, I've been unsubscribed for your channel, but I didn't unsubscribe. Like, where have you been on YouTube? Well, I've posted 4 videos this week. Well, I didn't see them because, oh my gosh, I've been unsubscribed. Like, I feel like I'm losing a grip sometimes on my channel because apparently of something YouTube's doing, I don't know. And that could prompt insecurity in me and make me say, well, like, maybe people are just not interested in me anymore because I've been around so long and whatever. So do I need to like completely reinvent myself for a new audience, or do I stay true to myself and just do what I've been doing all along because that's what brought me here and that's why I'm here and that's what I like to do and that's where my passion is? And heck yeah, I'm just gonna keep being the same old me. I'm gonna keep doing my honest reviews. I'm gonna keep bringing you frank, real person perspective information on stuff. I'm gonna keep being the change I wanna see with the lack of sponsorship on my channel. And if there's an audience for it, there's an audience for it. But I'm not gonna waste my life on my channel being something I'm not. So back to Sarah's comment, yeah, I hope people are coming back for the old school. Beauty YouTubers and the clickbait images and titles. Everybody wants your clicks, y'all. Everybody's trying to stand out a little bit more than the next person. Everybody's trying to do what they can because this market is so flooded with people doing YouTube videos. But I do not like clickbait. I do not like things where someone's trying to make something seem like so dramatic and like real drama filled. And a lot of times people are more annoying in their thumbnails than they actually are if you watch their video. Like, thumbnails can sometimes look so freaking annoying, even some of my own, but it's like, I don't think I came across as annoying as I looked at my thumbnail, I hope. And let's end it on this one. Makeup is taken so seriously sometimes. It's not that deep. Depends on how you look at it, isn't it? Because it is a massive billion-dollar business, so in that sense, like, there's a reason why product after product is coming out and all this stuff. And is it not too deep in the sense that I hope people keep just having fun and keep wanting to pick up products just for the love of creativity and having a good time and sitting down and feeling better because they're sitting there doing their makeup. Yeah, I hope that sentiment about it not being that deep and just enjoy yourself rings true. But at the same time, I hope so-called influencers, if you want to call us that, are aware of their impact and aware of the fact if they're being viewed by tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, that what they say is carrying some weight. And the products you choose to stand behind, you know, that means something. Just because you got a box of something for free, it is someone's hard-earned money out there that's gonna either take your advice or not. So maybe that's the takeaway from all of this, is that I hope brands and creators take their role seriously, maybe think outside the money box a little bit. I'm sure that's wishful thinking, but consider the consumer a bit more. And consumers should keep in mind that they are speaking with their pocketbooks, basically. So if you don't support new makeup launches, I guess don't buy them. If you don't support YouTubers who are constantly telling you to buy this or buy that or whatever, don't keep watching them. Your habits in spending, in viewing, in following, it all amounts to something. So yeah, have fun, it's just makeup, but know that every little decision you make does kind of trickle down into what's going on globally in this industry. But anyway, this was fun. I want to do this again sometime. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your hot takes, everybody who contributed. Sorry I couldn't get to all of them, but some of them represented like a whole lot of other people who were thinking the same thing you were. So thank you again, guys, and I'll see you soon. Bye.